Like we said, you should have turned in your goal setting sheet yesterday, and then today you should have turned in your student info sheet signed. So if you didn't, does everyone understand that's your homework again tonight to bring that signed sheet tomorrow, right? Or if it's your first day, bring it tomorrow. We went over our warm-up. We said a point is like a dot, maybe, and a line is straight. You know, you could put whatever you want in these blanks, but that was our warm-up for the day. And this is how we do our warm-ups every day for the rest of the year. So we get 100 every week, right? And now we're getting into we're going to get into this, but real quick, wanted to make sure we talked about vocabulary. Okay. So y'all have this page. Everyone got this page. This has all the vocab you'll need to know for this unit. Some of it is definition, some of it is equations. And we're going to tackle this stuff as the unit goes on. Hold on to this. You never know when I'm going to let you use it, and it would be very helpful if you had this information, right? So make sure you hold on to that. All right. Well, back on over here. We are looking at this sheet, so let's go ahead and define a point. So I know we said in the warm-up, a point is a dot, but really a dot represents what a point is, and a point is a location. That's the best definition. It's a location. So think about like points on a map, especially if you've used like Google Maps or something. Okay, those are locations. Those are points. Now, I know you can see a point on a piece of paper if you put a little dot, but technically a point has no size and it has no shape. Cool. So it's a location with no size and no shape. So if it has no size, I couldn't see it on a piece of paper. That's why we put a dot there to show where it would be. Okay. So even though a dot has some size, it's just a representation of a point. Now, how do you name a point? The notation for this point A over here is to use the capital letter point A. Yeah, sign out, take the pass. So always use a capital letter to name a point. Cool. All right, so that's the name of that point, just capital A. Now, that's when you have one point. A line, well, that's when you have more than one, okay? A line is made up of multiple points. So if you take a whole bunch of points and line them up in a straight fashion, that would give you a line, okay? And any blank points form a line, any 2 points, right? Y'all know that if you got one location and another location, you can definitely make a straight line in between them, okay? So like, for example, if I have like A and B, I can definitely make a nice straight line through A and B. Cool. Now, a line has no thickness or width. Thickness or width. So again, technically, a line, you could not see it because it's so thin, so there's no width to it. But we have to draw it on our paper. We represent it with a drawing of a line, okay? Okay, now how do we name it? We need to know the notation. To name a line, we name a line by any 2 points, okay? So remember, a point was 1, but a line has 2 to name it. So look off to the left here. What are the 2 points on this line? Sorry, over here. X, Y, and that's not it because, and this is also on your vocab sheet. Let me just refer back to this real quick over here. Right? When you name a line, you have to put the notation of a line on top of it. And the notation has 2 arrowheads when you do the notation. 2 arrowheads. So you could call it literally line XY with the notation of a line on top. Or you can use a lowercase script letter. Do y'all see off to the side here? We have a lowercase script n. You see how n doesn't have a point next to it? It's just like kind of there. It's kind of a weird font. That means the name of that line is also just line n. So we can go ahead and put that down. Cool. So I want to make sure this is clear. N is not a point because there's no dot next to it and because it's that weird font. Okay, so we're done with line. Let's talk about plane. Okay. All right. How many of y'all have been on a plane? Everyone should raise their hand because right now you're on a plane. Because a plane is a flat surface. Look at that ground. That's nice and flat. Okay, but seriously though, an airplane and a flat geometry plane are different, but they're kind of related. Like when you get in an airplane, hopefully you land on a nice flat surface, right? Not a mountain range or the ocean or a tree or something, right? So anyways, but a flat plane in geometry, okay, let's go ahead and fill this in. A plane is a flat surface made up of points. If you think of a bunch of points and they're just all next to each other and they make a flat surface, that is a plane, okay? Now, to make a plane, it's going to take 3 points. Any 3 points make a plane, okay? A point was 1, a line takes 2, but a plane, flat surface, takes 3 points, okay? Here's why. Think about 3 random points in space. If you connect those 3 points, what shape did you just make? A what? Triangle, right? 3 points, triangle. And a triangle is flat, just like a plane is flat. So it kind of makes sense. All right, now this says not just like a triangle, but whatever plane I show you, whether it's the floor or the picture on the paper, all of that is only a piece of a plane because look at what it says. A plane extends in all directions forever, okay? So I'm holding in my hand a piece of paper. This is like a plane, right? It's flat. But you have to imagine a real plane goes forever up, forever down, forever right, forever left. It's like a forever piece of paper going in every direction. I've never seen that in my life, okay? But that's why these things are kind of abstract, okay? You have to imagine. So usually we take a piece of a plane to talk about whatever we're talking about. So we want to name a plane by any 3 collinear points or a what? Uppercase script letter. So let's start with the first one, 3 non-collinear points. We skipped over that. Let me go back real quick, okay? Sometimes this breaks and I can't use it, so it's not broken. Go back up here. It says collinear points. Put a star right here. This is going to be on your test for sure. You got to know what this means, okay? Co is like the prefix for sharing, okay? Like if you ever have a class with a co-teacher, there's 2 teachers, they're sharing the same classroom. Co-dependent, coexist, I don't know. You've heard co in a word. So collinear is when you share a line, 2 points or more on the same line. Okay, so point on the same line. Make sure you understand that. So let me draw a picture. If I got 3 points, call them A, B, C. If they make a straight line, those are collinear. Cool. But the next one, non-collinear, is not collinear. Think about points that don't make a straight line. Let's try this one. And it has to be at least 3 points. So let's try D. D and E would make a straight line, but my 3rd point down here, well, those don't make a straight line. Cool? All right. Now, next up, where were we? Oh yeah, so again, 3 non-collinear points. So what are 3 points that are not in a straight line here? What do you think? What are the 3 points you see on this plane? Okay, K, J, and L, they're not in a straight line, but they are points with a dot. So go ahead and put plane JKL. Or it says you can use an uppercase script letter. Now look at this plane. Where's an uppercase script letter without a dot? P. You'll see P has no dot, and it's like a weird font. Okay, that's the name of that plane. You can call it plane P. Cool. Now let's talk about non-coplanar. You got to know that for the test too, so make sure you star that. If collinear means points on the same line, coplanar means points on the same plane. Okay, that means they're going to be on the same flat surface. So points that lie on the same plane. So like if I have a plane, you know, dot, 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 those are coplanar, right? Points that do not lie on non-coplanar is not on the same plane. It could be like this, you know, dot, dot, and then, you know, one's out here. Cool. That's plane. And then our last little section down here, intersecting lines and planes. Now look, right here, I got 2 intersecting lines. Where do they cross? What is that? What is that thing called? A point, right? So when 2 lines cross, they make a point. So 2 lines intersect at a point. Exclamation point. Now think about this next one. What about 2 planes intersecting? Not airplanes, geometric planes. If I have 2 planes that are crossing, think about it like this. I got a piece of paper and a piece of paper. They're flat. Where do they touch? What does that make when they touch? A line. You'll see how it's like not just one piece, not one little point, but everywhere on that edge is a part of a line, okay, or a line segment, okay? So 2 planes intersect at a, like this thing right here, line. And technically over here, it's point P for this one, and then line K for this one. All right, flip it over, please. All right, on the back, we're gonna do some practice together, and then it'll probably run us to the end of class. You'll have a practice tomorrow based on this stuff. So you'll keep these notes and you'll use them tomorrow. Now, on this, some of these have multiple answers. So whatever we write may not be your answer you would have put. So again, just notice there's more than one answer. All right, number 1, use the diagram to the right to name the following. 4 collinear points. So again, collinear means in the straight line. Who can see 4 points straight in the line? What do you think? Okay, so real quick, I want to make sure I show one that's not true. Okay, y'all see M, N, O. P is not a point. P is a line name because it's got that weird font, right? So M, N, O, I can't use that. J, K, L, well, Q, it's not a point. It's the name of the line, again. So again, the only 4 points I see in a straight line are these points. H, N, K, and I, okay? All right. Now, what is a line that contains point M? P is correct. Line P. What about a line that contains H and K? What have H and K on it? What is this line? So if you look at this line, there is a script letter right there. The name of it is R, right? Now for both of these, let's go ahead and get another name for it. So back to the letter B. Line P, what are 2 points on this line that we could name it? Anyone? What are 2 points on this line P? Okay, M and N. So another way to say P is MN with a line on top. Okay, see how that works? Point P or MN the line. Okay, a line that contains points H and K. Well, if it contains H and K, guess what? HK is also the name of this line right here. All right, letter D, another name for line Q. Well, I just need 2 letters on line Q. I heard KL, KL are both on it. Please don't forget the line symbol on top, okay? And then E, what's the intersection of lines P and R? So check it out, line P, line R, they touch at one point, point N. So go ahead and just put capital N. All right. I want to see if y'all can do some of these next ones. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes on number 2. Go ahead and try number 2, A through E on your own. We'll go over them in a minute, okay? Line containing F. So the line that contains F is line J, or you could call it DE. Besides DE, you could call it DF, EF, ED, FE, FD, lots of different options. What's another name for line K? So line K is right here. So up and down here, line K, I just need 2 points. I can pick BE. Another example could be EC, BC, EB, CE, CB. Those are all options. Okay, a plane containing point A. So what's the name of the point that has A randomly out here? You could call it M, the weird like script font, or I need 3 points on that plane. ADE works too. An example of 3 non-collinear points. All I need are 3 points not in a straight line. So let's try B, E, but instead of C, I'm going to pick A. You could do BEF, you could do DEB, there's so many options. Okay. The intersection of plane M and K, plane M and this line K, those cross right at that one point where it's kind of like an arrow going through a piece of paper at point E. Cool? Now, number 3, use the diagram up to the right to name the following 3 collinear points. Sorry, 3 coplanar points. So I'm going to use the bottom plane, but you could use any flat surface on that pyramid. But I'm going to use the bottom plane. The bottom flat surface has these 3 points on it, V, W, and X. Any 3 points, as long as you don't use that weird R, is good. A plane containing X, well, X is on the bottom plane again. What's the name of that bottom plane? Plane R, okay? Another plane X is on is technically this triangle ZWX, so that's another option. There's more than one plane that X touches. Now, this asks us, where does plane R intersect with ZVY? ZVY is this triangle. Okay, now where does this triangle touch the bottom flat plane? What do y'all think? This triangle, the bottom of it, V is on the plane, Y is on the plane, and everything in between it. Okay? When you have 2 points and everything in between it, that's called a segment. So it's segment VY with no arrowheads. Okay? That is straight out of our vocab that you have printed out for you. Okay? Segments have no arrowheads. Okay? How many planes are in this figure? I'll tell you real quick. There's a bottom flat surface. And how many flat surfaces are on the side of that pyramid? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So I got 4 on the sides, 1 on the bottom. That's 5 flat surfaces. Okay. So again, planes are just flat surfaces. And how many planes have W on it? Let me tell you. W is on the bottom surface. And technically that W is part of this triangle and this triangle. Right? So that's 3 planes that W is a part of. Stick with me. We're going to finish this out real quick. Okay. Number 4. What is the intersection of L and M? Where do they cross? E. Right? L and M, those 2 lines touch right at E. What's another name for plane Q? All I need are 3 points on Q that are not in a straight line. So F, E, can't use G. I. F, E, I would make a triangle on Q, the plane Q. So as long as they're non-coplanar, F, E, and I, you could use EGI, other options. Now, are D and E collinear or coplanar? So you tell me, are D and E on a flat surface or on a line? What do y'all think? Is D and E on the same line or plane? Line, right? D and E have a line connecting them, even though D and E could be written on the same plane. The picture shows they're on the same line. They're co-linear, right? Now this last one is kind of a tricky trick question, so don't get tricked. Where does P, that flat surface, touch Q, that flat surface? Where do you see them overlap? The flat P and the flat Q. They don't. Very good. Okay. So since they don't touch, I know line L connects them, but L is not part of the plane. So flat P, flat Q, they don't touch. So how many times do they intersect? We're going to put 0. All right. I know that last part was fast, but I wanted to make sure these were done. You're going to use this on tomorrow's assignment. You're going to do these on your own, okay? One-sided. Cool? So keep your notes, keep your printed vocab, keep your warm-up sheet. Don't lose it, don't fold it. If you need a folder, let me know. All right.